Okay. Yeah, I even put a little note to remind myself because I was so afraid I was going to forget to record. All right. So this is our very first class, and I know that this is kind of like I want to say a prototype or not all classes will probably go like this because everybody's doing a little bit different, but getting it recorded, we'll post it afterwards. So sometime this evening, we'll get that posted over on our link, and then we'll just wing it. Did you have anything else you wanted to add to that, Emily? Sorry to put you on the spot like that.
No, you're good. Thanks for doing this.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, this is the first herb class, and my take on all of this is trying to keep it as simple as possible, because I feel like if you want to learn something, simplicity is the way to do it. And if it gets complicated, you're not going to remember it. So I try to really keep things simple and relatable for everybody. Okay, so this is about how to use herbs to manage stress and anxiety, which we all experience at one time or another. And Zoom, please cooperate. Okay, so a little bit about me. This is not a sales pitch, but this is my presentation that I use for workshops. So I just kind of try to put a few things in here and there from various workshops that I've done for people, just to kind of give a good information for you all. So it kind of tailored it for us, but basically this is what I do. I am, focused on mind, body, spirit work. I do try to keep things simple. I've been in the abyss where I could barely function because my mind was so in such chaos and trauma. So when I say that, healing is possible, trust me, it is. It's not easy, but it is possible. And so my approach really, while I've been an herbalist for over 35 years, a long time, I also know that is an aid. It's an ally. Sorry. The biggest thing that you can do in addressing anxiety, depression, stress, it's all related, is working on the mind. So with given that, doing the mind work in tandem with using herbs is extremely helpful, especially when we're talking about acute times where you're so stressed out and you're just like, and we've all learned in our classes together, about breathing, about, coming into the present moment, mindfulness, all of that. But, those herbal allies are there to help us as well. So I want to address kind of both of those, mostly the herb section, but it's hard to address one without the other because they work in tandem. Okay. So here is a little bit of information. Oh, and most of these pictures I take myself, just to let you know that little, what is it even called? Like a little bucket there. It was at a lavender farm that I went to, and it had nothing but lavender, like hundreds of different species of lavender. It was an amazing experience. I went there all by myself. I didn't bring anybody with me because I wanted to enjoy it by myself because of the tranquility, the peacefulness. It was an amazing experience. And I took the most amazing pictures. Like, I'm not a photographer, but that kind of makes me a liar, right? But anyway, so here's a few things that we all can do for peace of mind. And I like what the Dalai Lama said here with peace of mind is the basis of a healthy body and a healthy mind. Because truly, when your mind is going through and creating all that anxiety, where does it go? It's right into your body, and it gets stuck there and it roots in. And it's even harder to get out because your body becomes this, it's, what is it? Fight and flight. Like you can actually feel your body clench up. So, but when you relax your mind, it will release that in the body. So here's a few things that we can do. Quality sleep. Sleep is so underrated. Truly.
Mm.
And if you're in, if, I'm sorry, can everybody mute their microphones, please? Just so that, what I'm saying is, heard. Okay, thank you. So quality sleep, you know that when you are sleep deprived, everything is worse. Like everything. Your reaction time when you're driving is worse. Your moods are worse. You're cranky. It feeds off of other. You start feeding off of other people. They feed off of you. It escalates everything. So one of the best things to do when you're under stress and feeling that anxiety come in is to make sure that you're up on your sleep game. And it's always quality over quantity. I mean, how often have you woken up after 4 hours of sleep and you're like, oh, I'm ready to go. What the heck? I only got 4 hours. What? But then you've gotten 8 hours or 9 hours and you're dragging. So it really is quality sleep that we're talking about. So not staying in bed all weekend and trying to catch up, that just does not work. But the irony is, as important sleep as sleep is, a lot of times when we have stress and anxiety, that's the one thing that we can't seem to get, because we can't turn off our mind, we can't loosen up our body to get into that relaxed state. And I will talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. So the other thing we can do is create a peaceful space in our home. So with COVID and having been all jumbled up on top of each other for a while, our space became their space, became everyone's space. And it was, I think we realized how important it is to have our own room, our own, even if it's part of a room. I think probably a lot of us have our own meditation space, or our own, we've created like a sacred area for ourselves. And that could be that space where you just feel like you can come home and sit there and you're okay, because we do want to have that feeling of security and safety when we're dealing with anxiety. Practice mindfulness. I don't like saying that because it seems so cliche, and I don't know exactly what everybody thinks about what mindfulness means. But the idea here is to come into the present moment, because if you're in the present moment, you don't feel depressed. You're not ruminating about the past, and you're not feeling anxiety because you're not living in the future that hasn't even happened. Chances are it's not going to happen the way you've imagined it to happen anyways, but you are in the present moment and you are okay. And to stay in there, to let the thoughts come and then go, knowing that you're in a safe place. And maybe it's sitting in your space, in that peaceful place in your home, that you can practice this. And I was talking to I've been taking Tibetan Buddhist classes on transformational thought every Sunday for the past month or so. And I was talking to someone in my class, what was this past Sunday, and he was saying, I don't have time in the morning to practice, sitting there for 20 minutes doing my meditation. And I said, but you don't really need to do that. I mean, what about if you set reminders throughout the day to take a break, like at lunchtime, before you eat or after you eat, you take, 2 minutes to maybe 5 if you can, to just be present in that moment, do your deep breathing practices, and really anchor into the now. So that's something you can do. Another thing, add something new to your day. So we're rush, which doesn't help anxiety, because then we don't do the things that we're supposed to do, or we don't do them right, or it's like it all feeds into each other. But what if we added something that we actually enjoyed doing and we looked forward to doing? Like if you're a cook, or if you like sewing, or whatever it is, gardening, sound healing, whatever it is, like make some time, add that specifically to your day, and carve out some time for you to do that, to enjoy that. Limits, this almost goes without saying, it's such a no-brainer, but yet we get caught up in it anyway. Limit exposure to social media and news. That's probably, honestly, for me, the biggest thing that spins me up is getting caught up into, oh my God, what else happened today on the news? Sometimes I can't even watch it, because and you don't even know if it's true anymore. You know what I mean? So we're getting ourselves spun up with something that may or may not even be true. And step away if you can. I know some people take, like, what do they call it? Like a social media dieta, or like, you know, I forgot what the actual word is, cleanse, detox. All right, and cultivate a sense of purpose. I think we've all probably been working on that to some degree or another. Maybe we know exactly what it is. Maybe we're still kind of like, oh, I'm not really sure. I usually tell people to go into a bookstore or a library and give yourself some time, an hour or so, and or half the day or whatever you want to do, and then find where you plant yourself. Pay real close attention to where you end up in that library or that bookstore, and the kinds of books that you're pulling out and leafing through, and then all of a sudden you have this pile and you're like, holy crap, I can't get all those. What am I going to read all those? Chances are that's your passion. That's what you're naturally drawn to. That's what lights you up and puts your, you know, sparks in your soul and all of that. And that's probably wrapped up in your purpose. So, you know, getting more honed in on that. It's a nice way to, it's not really a distraction from the anxiety or the thoughts that are creating anxiety, but it's certainly a healthy path forward, because the anxiety, from what I see, is more of a distraction from that path towards your purpose. And then, of course, enjoy some herbs, because there's all kinds of herbs that you can, if you're passionate about herbalism and learning about what plants go together, what plants can heal certain things, there's lots of books that I can recommend on those. I have a few on my desk right now of my favorites. They're oldie but goodies, so I'd be happy to make recommendations for anybody interested. Okay. All right, so here we start getting into the herbs that are, and I don't know if everybody's heard of these before, or they're new. I don't know what level or experience everybody has. So, but again, I try to keep it basic. I try to keep it simple, so it's something that you can remember. And when you're, you know, looking at herbs in a store, or in a garden center or whatever, you're like, oh yeah, I remember her talking about passion flower. I even know what it looks like. So hopefully that kind of, you carry that away with you today. All right, so chamomile, that is one of the most gentle herbs that you can use. In fact, most of you probably don't know, but I lived in Turkey for 12 years, and I speak German, I speak Turkish, which actually adds a lot to my herbal practice, because I take from the East, the West, the Chinese medicine, like everything. It all serves a purpose. So I was exposed to the way the Germans holistically heal, and then what the Turks use from the Mediterranean region. And I practice Ayurveda. So it's all kind of mixed. But with chamomile, that's almost like an international herb for calming. And my German midwife always recommended, like, for children who are colicky, or even babies who are colicky, that they could have chamomile tea, very light chamomile tea, because it was very good for colicky, inflammation, you know, if they're feeling like, you know, that pain of, what is it called, when you're colicky, you have the cramping. So it's that gentle that Germans use it for young children. So that's that. If you're very sensitive, that would be like a first level, something that most people can tolerate, unless you have ragweed issues or something like that. Chamomile is a great go-to. I have a friend who doesn't like the tea. She can't drink it to save her life, but that's that's unusual. Most people like chamomile. And then the next level up, so if you're thinking chamomile is the most gentle of these herbs on this page, and you see it's beautiful. Lemon balm would be the next one. So lemon balm is also very, very calming. It's good, you know, children can take it as well. It's very akin to catnip, if you've ever drank catnip tea, or maybe you've drank lemon balm tea. It tastes like lemon. It smells like lemon. I have it growing in my garden. It actually takes over my garden, which I don't mind, because I make all my tinctures from the lemon balm that I grow in my garden, and use it for teas and whatnot. So, but it's wonderful. It's calming. It's it would be the first one. It's actually one of the most favorite tinctures that I make, because I put a little bit of honey in it, and people they just love it. It tastes wonderful, and it really does calm you. And again, if you're sensitive, this is one that would really do well, or you would do well with. The next level up would be passion flower, and you can see passion flower is that kind of funky looking flower. You might even have it growing in your garden, or maybe your neighbor does. It's not uncommon. And that is passion flower. That beautiful flower actually is a healing herb for us when when we need to de-stress and chill out. So passion flower, it is a mild sedative. And so all of these herbs, I always do my own like guinea pigging, even if it's not something that I need to take, just to see how it reacts. And so I can honestly tell people, you know, you need to be careful with this or whatever. Passion flower, when I took the tincture, I needed to take a nap. It affected me pretty quickly. So again, if you're sensitive, passion flower is probably going to have a similar effect on you. If you're super stressed out, passion flower is a wonderful thing to like bring with you on the go. Even like if you have issues at work and you're just like, oh my God, passion flower would be probably something good that that wouldn't necessarily put you to sleep, especially if you're in that kind of state. So I would recommend it for something like that level. And then there's skullcap, and skullcap is really good, especially if you're prone to migraines, because it helps with like when you got that sensory overload, it helps like sedate the mind it mildly. So it's not like putting you out. It's not like tranquilizing you, but it definitely calms down the mind. But again, that is stronger than passion flower in my opinion. And I would not use it if I was going to be driving or, you know, having to be active in any way. I accidentally took some in the morning one day, and I really had to struggle. Like, extra coffee that day. I don't know how I did that. It was in my medicine cabinet. And I was like, after I did it, I was like, oh my God, what have you done, Kim? All right. So those are kind of like the tiers of the go-to for relieving stress and anxiety in an acute form. Like this would not be something that you would take all the time. This would be in the need. You could go to these. While they won't hurt you if you take them over time, I don't think that they're really meant for that. And particularly valerian. Valerian, I don't know if you've taken it before or smelled it, but it smells like bear poop and tastes worse. So you know, all of these can be taken in teas. You know, when I'm getting ahead of myself. They can all be taken in teas, with the exception of valerian. I honestly would not recommend taking valerian in any way except quickly. So that would be, you know, a tincture or even a capsule. But I think the tinctures work faster than the capsules. But valerian will knock you out. That is actually a physical sedative. So like if you're having issues sleeping, valerian combined with skullcap will knock you out. At least I do make a tincture called Sleep Tight, and I combine those two that I make. And if I do need to take it for any reason, I'm usually out within 10 minutes. It works that quickly. And that's the response that other people have said too. So it is very strong. And so you don't use this unless you're ready for bed or extremely stressed out and you know that you need to just like take a nap, to chill out, you know, get rid of that stress physically. It seemed like there was one more thing I wanted to say about valerian. Oh, okay. So these are ways that you can take the herbs. I mentioned that you can take them in tea form, and some of them, you know, passion flower, lemon balm, skullcap is okay too. Passion flower and lemon balm actually taste pretty decent. So, you know, using them in a tea with some chamomile or something, that is a wonderful way to relax. Valerian, no. That would definitely be a tincture tincture form. So, but this is the ways that you can take them. And these are tinctures. If I'm pretty sure everybody probably knows, but just if you don't, tinctures are they are herbal extracts. Usually they're in alcohol. But I do know that some people are sensitive to alcohol and prefer, don't want to put it in their body or can't put it in their body. So there are other ways other than alcohol tinctures that are possible to take. There's glycerin, I think. Yes. Okay. So glycerin is another option. It actually tastes really good. It doesn't have the shelf life that an alcohol-based tincture would have, but it's really tasty. And it's kind of like honey. So that's also an option. And I know, like, I can get into detail if you guys want about, how to evaporate the alcohol from the tinctures, or, how to make tea. I've got a tea press here too. I don't know to what degree you guys have knowledge, but I can start at any place for you. But anyway, so those are different ways that you can actually get the herb into your body. And that's the whole point. You want to get it in your body to start working. Oh, here's another one that's really good. All right. So we went over the herbs that you use when you have an acute situation where you need to deal with it right now. And I would recommend those either being in a tea or a tincture. These are the herbs that are coming up now are more for long term. So you can take them daily, and that actually is better than just taking it once. It works better over time. So these are, this is Schisandra, and this is an adaptogen, and it's kind of a unique herb or berry. I have a few dried here. It's not always so easy to find, but if you use it, it's super interesting. I will pop a few in my mouth and chew on them. Whenever I pass them in the kitchen, they're like the everlasting gobstopper. You can taste on all your taste buds. You've got the sour, you've got the bitter, sweet, acrid, and salty. So this is addressed in Chinese, traditional Chinese medicine. This is, a revered herb. It hits all 5 elements. I don't think there's any other herb or plant that does, and that's why it's one of the reasons it's so special. But it's used for longevity, and it's got a lot of what did I want to say about the adaptogens? So adaptogens, in how I like to explain it, is they're like smart herbs. They're intuitive. They know where to go. They know where you're stressed out, and they know where to go in your body to help with that stress. They also know if you need a little bit more pep in your step. So if you're, needing more energy, they'll energize you. If you need more chilling out, they'll help you chill out. So they go where your body needs. And I find those are the best to use over time because of that. So Schisandra is a wonderful one. It does, like, you can see it does just about everything. It almost doesn't make sense. Like, how can it do all those things? But it does. And so Russians had performed a lot of research on this back in the 40s and 60s and whatnot, on how the bodies in Siberia, the hunter-gatherers and all of that, were able to adapt to stress under extreme conditions, extreme terrain. So it's fascinating, and I would highly recommend, you can use it in tea also. I think the predominant flavor is sour. So if you have too much of it, your teeth might get a little sensitive, just to warn you about that. Okay, so ashwagandha, I'm sure most of you have heard about ashwagandha. This is another adaptogen, or the smart herb. So this is something that's going to help you with brain fog, because you want that mental clarity, especially if you're dealing with anxiety and stress, because that sort of wipes it out, and it's hard to think clear. It's going to help you focus, and it's going to help you balance your moods. And the thing about ashwagandha and a lot of the Ayurvedic herbs is, and one of the reasons I like using them so much is because it's incorporating ancient wisdom that works. And if you've noticed, when you're talking about, like, the health of Indians, you don't see dementia or a lot of stress like you do in the Western world. You don't. honestly, I think it's because of the diet and the herbs that they're using to cook with and to drink tea with. And so that kind of gets into this next slide. These are all herbs for a healthy mind, and they work on a cellular level. So and most of these are from Ayurveda. So you've got Bacopa, you've got Ginkgo biloba, which most people have probably heard of, Gotu kola, Tulsi, which is also a sacred herb. Most Hindus have that growing in their garden, their outside garden, and Shankapushpi, and then peppermint. So all of these herbs have a special function for cellular like regeneration. And Gotu kola is interesting too, because I use that a lot for skin, if I'm making a skin tea, because it helps with the blood flow, and blood flows to the skin, blood flows to the brain. So that makes perfect sense. Tulsi is wonderful for lifting fog and just like having a clear head, helps connect your crown chakra to the divine. I think peppermint, they say to drink peppermint or use peppermint essential oil when you're studying, because it helps make your mind clear, so you retain the information that you're actually trying to learn. And it can be overpowering, I think, sometimes taste-wise, but it does help with headaches too. Yeah, so these are a few that you can make into a tea. Actually, that's what I'm drinking. I'm drinking a combination of that and some lymph moving tea, just because of, don't want stuff getting stuck. But so if you make a tea similar to this is really wonderful. And I added lemon balm here because of the flavor, and star anise because of the flavor, and because Tulsi can be a little bit strong if you make it into a tea. But this is really wonderful. And again, I can walk through how to make tea, because I did tell somebody, I gave them some loose tea, and they said, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't have any tea bags. And I was like, I didn't realize that some people didn't know you can use a tea press or a coffee press, actually, put the tea in here and pour hot water over it, put this down to kind of keep the herbs down, and then let it steep. And I let mine steep for at least 10 minutes, because I like mine strong. That way I can water it down. But some people don't want it strong, so you let it steep according to your taste. But it's that simple. It's that simple to make herb tea. You don't need fancy tea balls and tea bags. All you need is something like that. Okay, and all right, so this, I wanted to say that this is another way to get the herbs in your body. If you don't like tea, no matter how you dress it up with lemon and honey and whatever, and you don't like tinctures for whatever reason, you can always take the herbs in a capsule like this. Okay, so with anxiety and stress, a lot of times that leads to headaches, either migraines or just general headaches. So here are a couple herbs that are generally used for relieving that. So we talked about skullcap. That's really good for the migraines. But again, with all of these herbs, I should have probably started out like this. Just because it's natural does not mean it's safe. And so I can never stress enough that if you've not used something, do your research on it, or ask me. I'll be happy to help you and say, if somebody is, on antidepressants, do not take St. John's wort. Like, there's certain herbs and combinations with medication that just should not be used again. So before you put anything into your body, just because it's natural does not mean it's safe. Just do your research and make sure that for your particular issues, if you have, high blood pressure or something, that you're not, drinking licorice tea or something like that. Okay, so with white willow, that actually helps with anti-inflammatory. So if you're got that throbbing, it will help with relieving that. But also, if you want to be careful with that if you are sensitive to aspirin or have kind of what do they call it, ulcers, because that will affect your stomach lining too. So again, you always be careful what you're putting in your body. And then there's wood betony, that helps with headaches as well, and helps lower blood pressure. So, but if you have low blood pressure to begin with, you want to make sure that you're not lowering it too low with that. Okay, all right, so here's the part about sleep. And again, if you're struggling with anxiety, chances are you're struggling with getting decent sleep, because it's either, keeping you from falling asleep, keeping you from staying asleep. Maybe if you're like me, it actually goes into my body and my body will start buzzing. Maybe it's not stress, it's just being active, so your body can't relax. And then maybe it's your mind can't relax, it's just reliving the day. It just cannot turn off. So a few things that will help with falling asleep is creating a bedtime routine. So, turning off the social, and we've probably all heard this before, turning off, unplugging, having a certain time that you're going to bed, that it's almost like your Pavlov's dog. Oh, it's 9:45, it's that time, and you start going upstairs. Maybe it's you want to incorporate the relaxing tea, that some of the herbs that we went through, and creating a tea for yourself. And that's part of the slowing down and unwinding at the end of the day. And then one of the biggest things, honestly, that helped me with just sleep in general was making sure that I had my boundaries set with my bedroom. That my bedroom was for a sleep oasis, that everything like my reading and my TV watching and my, active stuff was done before I crossed the threshold of my bedroom. So I made it as comfortable as I possibly could, as serene as I possibly could, because that was my oasis, my sleep oasis. And so it kind of turned something in my mind that now is sleep time, and it helped tremendously. But so again, there's lots of tricks and tips and ins and outs of getting healthy sleep, which is a whole nother workshop that I do. Because there's so much involved. But falling asleep, taking the valerian and the skullcap combination is gold. That helps tremendously. But if you've been used to not sleeping, and your body's like, your nerves are all kind of messed up, and it's used to waking up at 3 a.m, and then you're all of a sudden awake and you have trouble going back to sleep, you could take that again to go back to sleep. Because the beauty about the skullcap and valerian is that you have no grogginess. You don't, it's not addictive. It's not, how do I say, it doesn't have those effects on you. Like if you've tried melatonin and you have high blood pressure, that's actually dangerous. You can really hurt yourself. But it also makes you groggy. It makes you feel like you got hit by a truck and you're supposed to go on with your day. These herbs don't have that effect. So it's really super helpful. All right. So staying asleep, one of the biggest things to staying asleep is never, ever, under any circumstances, look at the clock. Ever, ever, ever. Just turn the other way and go back to sleep. Because if you start looking at the clock, what happens? You're like, oh my God, it's 2:30. Oh no, I only have three more hours before I have to get up. And it all creates this whole new thing that didn't exist until you woke up and looked at the clock. So if you have to, turn your clock away so you can't see it no matter what you do. And just trust me, it does work, and it does get easier. I don't look at the clock anymore. Used to be horrific. But again, if you're waking up at certain times during the night, there's the Chinese 24-hour body clock that might be helpful for you to look at. Because if you're waking up at, I think, 3 o'clock, it's the liver that's functioning at that time. I think 4 o'clock is the gallbladder, and 5 o'clock is the intestines. Like something is waking you up. and so that's the root cause. So you know, again, like there's a whole nother workshop I'd be happy to teach on sleep, but these are the basics. Okay, so relaxing the body. I mentioned sometimes you're buzzing and your body literally can't settle down. Maybe you ran too late, maybe you ate too late, you know, yoga, deep breathing, herbs, trying to not do again what you just did, but also learning. Like these are things that you don't do before bed. You don't eat certain things, you don't drink certain things. Again, that's another reason why the bedtime routine is so helpful. And then the ultimate is relaxing the mind, because if you had an anxious day, if you're stuck in that ruminating, oh my God, why did I do that? That was so stupid. The self-talk and the whole mind work is, you know, a lot of other work, and I'm happy to do classes and workshops on that too. But relaxing the mind, honestly, one of the biggest things that helps me and has helped me to get rid of the day is to journal. And I don't like saying that because I don't like journaling, but it actually helps. I have a planner that I will go through at the end of the day and be like, okay, well, I got this done, this done, this done. Oh, shoot, I didn't get that. Okay, well, I'm not going to sit here and worry about it. It's 9:30. I'm going to go to bed. And I write it down for my things to do tomorrow. And that's it. I can't do anything more. I can do it tomorrow. So honestly, when you put pen to paper like that, and you're clearing out the stuff from your mind, it's like it's like magic, actually. Like it happens. Your mind is like, okay, she's got this. And you've built trust up in your mind that you're going to deal with it tomorrow. So your mind doesn't have to keep you awake anymore. It doesn't have to keep nagging at you going, but you didn't do that. Are you going to do it tomorrow? Because it already knows that you are. You've already created like a trusting relationship with your mind with that. So that hopefully, oh shoot, I just went over all that stuff. Okay, well, some of the good things from this slide is actually one thing Ben Franklin said was early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. And that is true. If you burn the candle at both ends, it doesn't help anybody. It goes back to that initial, like getting sleep, quality over quantity. Sleep is so important for your mind. Your mind needs it to regenerate. It needs it to create memories. It needs it to, you know, the muscles in your body need sleep to repair. Everything needs sleep, and you depriving your body and your mind of sleep is just is creating a worse scenario for yourself. But you know, one of the things that is really helpful is to think about the relationship you have with sleep, because a lot of us dread it, because it's like, oh, now it's time to fight with myself again. Now it's time to fight with my mind. We're going to get into an argument. I need sleep. No, you don't. You need to listen to me complain about this. And so it's a struggle when you're in bed. And why would you want to go to bed and deal with that again, or whatever your issue is, you know? So really think about the relationship you have with sleep. Like, what time do you like to go to bed? Do you like to go to bed early? Go to bed early. Do you like to go to bed late if you're a night owl? Is that working for you? Like, you know, question it, start figuring out your preferences, even down to what side of the bed you like to sleep on. Maybe, I mean, I know my husband always wanted the door. I wanted the door. That was a problem. Now I'm divorced, I get the door. But, you know, it's simple things like that. You know, you could like your right side, and therefore that side of the bed isn't working for you. You know, you could be up against the wall, and that's no fun. What do you like to do before you go to bed? Do you like to chill out? Do you like to, you know, watch TV? Do you like to, I don't know, talk on the phone? Those things might be a little too stimulating, you know. So start questioning like how your routine is, and what do you like about it? What do you think you could change? And does it really help you to sleep? Are you sleeping too much? Do you sleep as an escape? Do you sleep because you need it, because you're tired? Do you go to bed when you're tired? Do you go to bed because you're supposed to go to bed because your husband's going to bed or your spouse is going to bed? Like, you know, create some ideas about why you sleep the way you do and how you feel about it, how you think about it. Do you look forward to it, or do you dread it because it's going to be another sleepless night? And do you see it as a priority or a luxury? I used to think of it as a luxury because I wasn't getting any. It was terrible. So hopefully that helps a little bit to rethink your sleep. And then this one I wanted to show, oh, there was the valerian. Yeah. So, you can, so this was the sleep tea and then the tinctures. So depending on your need for sleep, you could even do both. But again, like I always recommend to go slowly, especially like if you're trying out a tincture for the first time. Usually a dropper full is a dose. You might want to try half a dropper full just to see how your body reacts, you know, because like when you're talking about valerian, that can be pretty strong. That can be really strong, like, you know, especially if you're sensitive. But tea is usually something that you can make and then add more water to. You have a lot more control over how strong or not that is. Okay, and here's another something that has always helped me is connecting to the rhythms of nature when I wake up and when I go to bed. It opens the day. So I've been doing some, I want to call it a ritual, but it's just my routine, my morning routine, greeting the elements. I greet all four, and then I go over to my window and open the window, no matter how cold it is or how hot. If it's raining, snowing, it doesn't matter. I open the window just so that I can breathe in the air. This is the start of my day. It could be nighttime, like, you know, 5 in the morning. It could be, you know, 7 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter. I want to breathe in that fresh air. That starts my day. That I'm alive. And that's the first thing that I'm grateful for. And that's where I'm connecting with my higher power. And I'm just grateful that I can be here connecting and be alive, be clear, because I was not clear when I was in the abyss. I was not clear at all. I couldn't even see what I see outside my bedroom window now. And I'm so fortunate that I see a sycamore tree, which I always gauge every day to see what the leaves are doing, because that's how clear I can see now. That's the clarity that I have from unfogging my mind and relieving myself of the anxiety and that whole horrible cycle that it causes. And I have hawk that comes and visits, and I have an owl that hangs out in the trees, and I have deer that come and foxes. So I'm very present. And that's the most important thing, is to be present in that moment in the morning, because that's the start of the day. That sets the tone for the whole day. And having that genuine feeling of being grateful to have that day starts your day off like that. It literally carries it through, because, you know, you think about how if you wake up and you're like, oh, crap, I'm late again. How does that start your day? It doesn't start it the same way, for sure. So this is a wonderful, simple way, something everybody can do, you know, no matter where you are in the world, is to connect in the morning like that. And then at night, I do the same thing. I go to my window and I, you know, try to find the moon, or just try to find, you know, connect. I have the nature right there. And no matter what happened that day, I recount it. I'm grateful for running into a friend at the grocery store, or spending some time with my daughter, or talking to my son on the phone. You know, the little things is actually what creates your life. Those little things add up to the big things. It sets the tone for your life. So when you find those little things, even if your day didn't go spectacularly, you know, it didn't meet your expectations for that day, there's still something in the part that didn't make you happy or think, "Ooh, this was great." There's still something in there that you learned, and that you can be grateful for learning that lesson, to make yourself better, to make your life better, to grow in that way. So there's so much gratefulness that we can practice in those simple routines that I think absolutely carries through in all of your life and helps with the anxiety and the stress. So I'm gonna close it for now and open it for anybody who has any questions about anything I've covered, or maybe even anything that we're going to be covering, because this is the first class in, it's all new for all of us. We're doing this. Oh, Kaz is here all the way from Australia. Hey.
And there is some questions in the chat too, Kim.
Oh my gosh. I was so busy talking. I didn't even see the chat.
No,
Okay.
you did great.
Okay. Shoot. Let me scroll all the way back to the top. Okay. Anna says, I love chamomile right before bed. Donna says, I've used it for that time of the month, grew lemon balm in my garden as a teenager. Kaz says, I love lemon balm. I grow it in lime balm. Oh, lime balm. Oh, I haven't heard of that one. Is it the same? Is it similar? Like, is it a ground plant?
You know, lime cordial, like lime flavor. You just brush against it, and I've had it self-seed and regrow, and it's absolutely beautiful. The leaves are more furry than what the lemon balm is, but they look almost the same plant.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure if I'd be allowed to send you some seeds.
Probably not. It would probably get confiscated in customs.
I wonder if I could make it like as an incense.
I would not dare to risk it.
Okay.
I mean, when I lived in Istanbul, I traveled to Germany, and I almost got strip searched because my husband and I were not carrying much luggage, because we always brought things from Germany, you know, imported into Turkey, and we everything we had was getting searched, almost us too, you know, because like, of course you have drugs. No, we didn't. We really didn't. But yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I don't even know if it grows here, or maybe it grows under another term. That sounds wonderful though. Okay.
I will have a look. I'm not sure if I grow chocolate peppermint in like an old long school sink up on our front porch, and I sat the pot up there, and she's just rooted into the dirt, and I can't move her now, but she's so healthy. She's been there for like 3 years.
You know, I found that with my lemon balm, if I don't cut it back, it will literally take over my entire garden. It is
Mine almost did.
crazy. Yeah. It just doesn't stop. Okay. All right. So Martha said passion flower is great for sleeping. Kaz said, oh, I love you have skullcap growing too. Oh, I would love to see your garden. I've seen you walk through your garden, but like I need close-ups.
The skullcap's new, obtained. It's still in a pot, so I could definitely take a photo and share it in the group.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Can I get these herbs at my local nursery? I think so, because nothing I covered was unusual except the Schisandra. That you probably can't get live. That would be really difficult, but you can get it dried. I don't think any of the herbs would be difficult to find here in the States. Oh, valerian. Can you just use the leaves on valerian or just the root? I haven't used the leaves. I stick with the root. And it's probably the stinkiest part, which is probably why it works. Kim, do you have a store? I do. I'm trying to open an Etsy store, but what I do actually is I don't like to just sell stuff, and I encourage people to question people who would just sell you something, because I did say you have to be super careful. Just because it's natural does not mean it's safe. And your body is not like my body. My body reacts to certain herbs negatively. And I've felt that reaction when I've taken St. John's wort. I have genetic high blood pressure, so I have to be very careful with certain things that I put in my body. So when I talk with clients, I make sure I get a whole list of their health issues, their allergies, you know, all of that kind of stuff, so that I can have a good idea of what not to let them have and what would work well for them. So because I always want to err on the side of being safe. No point in getting you sick. So yes, I do actually, that's part of my apothecary back there. I have it in 3 different rooms. But you can see that I like open that and you've got all kinds of lots and lots of herbs. Let's see, I drank the Tulsi in the morning. Tulsi's wonderful. I love peppermint. I want to love peppermint. It's just a little strong. It's just a little strong for me. I like weird stuff though, like a star anise.
I love the smell of it, but not the taste.
Yeah, I know. I like the taste. Everybody's different. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Interactions with medications. Depends on the medication. But that's another reason why I would never just say, oh, use skull cap. There you go. I want to make sure that you don't have any, you're not taking any medication that would interact with it, or you don't have a health issue that would be dangerous. Let's see, peppermint smells so good.
Yes, it does.
I keep losing my connection. Oh,
Oh,
that's another
yeah, I
question.
had this big thing. It kept coming in and out, in and out. Sorry.
A chakra meditation. I'm not sure where that would have been from.
I don't think
maybe for
there's-
sleeping.
Yeah, for sleeping. That was not a question. She was just saying like that's what she
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. That's excellent. That's one of the best things you could probably do. And now I just, Anna, how do you find the Tulsi? What benefits does it bring? That was Kaz asking Anna, I think. Oh, Anna said, I found Tulsi, ginger, and turmeric tea on the bottom shelf in the organic tea aisle. I already drank turmeric and ginger tea a lot, so it just combines well. It also is a breath freshener, just once a day. I try not to overdo the herbal teas. And you know, that's a really nice Ayurvedic digestive tea right there. That's going to help you with your digestion. And ginger can be a little spicy, but it's good. Like it really helps with that stuff.
Is there any like herbs that are good for weight loss?
Yes, but the best thing is just not eating so much. I hate to say that. I wish there was a quick fix, but there's I think it's Gymnea, if I'm pronouncing it right. It helps repress the sweet tooth. So and licorice tea also helps with sugar cravings. But again, like if you have high blood pressure, you don't want to drink licorice tea. So there's other alternatives like Gymnea. I have some, I'm just not a fan. I don't like the taste. So if I don't, and the thing is with herbs or anything, if you don't ingest it, it doesn't work. So there's that. Got to drink it to make it work and not eat as much. I grow Tulsi and I have wondered if I should try it in a tea. You have Tulsi too. Yes, try it. Yeah, you're so lucky to have that growing. Oh, you did great teaching. Thank you, Martha.
A whole garden bed full of it. Yeah. Just
I need to get some of that in my backyard.
It grows so easy. You want to put it in a pot or a contained garden bed though, because it'll just spread.
Well, and I think that's what they do in India. They actually have a dedicated, beautiful pot in their garden for that, because it's sacred too. So it hits all the wonderful things right there. Stormy says, blown away. You're amazing, Kim. Oh, thank you, Stormy. Anna said, I planted orange balm and it is the same with taking over the garden. Yeah, some plants just, you wonder, why did I do that? It's not as bad as bamboo, but it's up there. Thank you so much for class too. You're welcome. Thank you, beautiful Gail. Thanks so much, Kim. Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad that all of you were able to make it. So the interaction is, I think, is what we were hoping to have so much, because like YouTube or Facebook Lives, you just don't. And you're not guaranteed to see the comments either. So this is, I think, the best way to actually connect, which is fantastic because I've never seen you guys like this.
It was very
Uh,
cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm
Very
so
cool.
glad we did this. So does anybody else have any questions or anything they wanted to add or say or anything?
Sorry. I just want to say thank you so much. Is there any chance you might be able to teach us how to do a session making some tinctures?
That's a good idea.
You just reminded me. I had some of these. Okay, so just real quick, because I brought them down for a reason. I totally forgot they were back there. This is skullcap. This is skullcap, and shoot. Well, this is sorry, I should have shown you white willow. White willow bark. That's for the headaches. This is a tincture. That's what, and you let it sit and sit. This has been sitting for a long time, so it's good, and it's never going to go bad. It's an alcohol base. The ones that would go bad would be glycerin based because it does have a shelf life of a couple years, but alcohol will evaporate before it goes bad. So this is actually the best way to store herbs that you're going to be using for medicine. So yeah, I've taught how to make elderberry syrup, how to make tinctures, like immune boosting tinctures, all of that kind of stuff. So I'd love to share that knowledge with you guys. It's so good to be able to, take control over your health and not depend on other people, other doctors telling you what to do with your body. It's nice to be able
I agree with that.
to do it
Kim,
yourself.
I would stop recording so it's not too big, remember?
Oh yeah.
But it's
Okay.
probably fine right now if you do it right now.
I'm going to stop right now.
Yeah.
Okay.